Listen, I got a special guest in the studio here. Dallas investor Mark Yancey. He has announced that he is challenging incumbent John Cornyn for the Republican primary for U.S. Senate.
Going for it.
A self-described Ronald Reagan Republican. He's uniquely qualified, he says, to bring a business perspective to Washington, D.C. Mr. Yancey, thank you so much for joining us here on the show.
Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you very much, and hats off to the Astros. Look, what a wonderful season they had, and they did a great job. And
well, we really didn't want you to bring up the negative side.
Well, it wasn't. I don't see it. I think they had a great season. Right?
They really did.
They really did great. And listen, it came down to to one game, and but congratulations to them. They very, very well.
Why do you want to be a U.S. senator from the state of Texas?
Well, look, I've been in business for 33 years. I've started 4 companies, been very successful.
Never held public office.
Never held public office, and I've started these businesses with other individuals, and we've employed hundreds of people, with good paying jobs. And I'd like to take that to Washington. I think look, we can we're all very savvy and can see what's going on in Washington. It's so politically charged right now, and has been really since 2016 that nothing is getting accomplished. I'm one of those individuals that really don't see a red state and a blue state. We happen to live in a red state, but I'm an inclusive individual and would prefer. I think the politician word is a dirty word. I'd rather use, the P in politician for people and passion and positivity, instead of, saying I'm a Democrat or I'm a Republican or I'm a liberal. When someone represents, should I get through this? I'm a paid representative for 28 million people in the great state of Texas, right? And so, that's my job is to not to go up to Washington to be a power player, is to listen, to hold town hall meetings, to listen to what Texans want need to accomplish. I want to. I'm a servant. That's the way I look at it. I mean, I've been in the private sector for 33 years. I am not a career politician and don't have any desires to be one. I think I'm also along those lines. I am very adamant about term limits. I think I think senators ought to be. You're
not the first to say that sitting in that chair.
Yeah, I mean, look, these senators park up there, and what happens is they become, I don't want to disparage anyone, but look, they become intoxicated with themselves. Sure. And so,
many of them get rich doing it.
That too, and I don't think it's right. I mean, well, don't get me started on that. We're asking for tax returns for all these other people, including Mr. Trump and so forth. I'd like to see how these people go into Congress with they don't have 2 nickels rubbed together, and they come out of Congress multimillionaires.
Right.
But that's another story. But look, I'm all for term limits. Should I get through this March 3rd primary? That's one of my agenda item is to limit it to 2 terms.
To do that, people got to get to know you. So let's pinpoint some of the issues.
Sure.
Today, the House is going to vote on impeaching the president. It moves on to the Senate. Yeah. Let's pretend for a moment you are the senator from Texas, one of them or 2. Yeah. How do you vote?
Well, there's a lot of information that needs to come out. Obviously, Nancy Pelosi has mismanaged this. This has really been a mismanaged hump by she and Adam Schiff. And so now that she has been kind of pressured into bringing this to the floor, which will happen today, and I'm certain that will they'll get the votes to do that. That'll go to the Senate. As you know, the Senate's controlled by the Republicans. The Republicans have an obligation. I mean, it's a trial. I mean, it's they're holding court. So it's look. I think I don't know I know the facts as I read them in the paper, and just like you guys do. But the Senate has an obligation, and if in fact there was a quid pro quo, and it's all the things that are being said in the media, and I have no inside information, no one is above the law, including the commander-in-chief. I'm not indicting him or exonerating him. I'm just saying that if there is, if there is any semblance of him currying favor, then the Senate has an obligation to act. And so we'll have to see how that plays out.
Well, you just passed the first political test by not answering the question.
Okay.
You are truly a politician now.
Okay.
Seriously.
I don't want to be a politician. So listen.
Based on what we know. Well,
based on what we know, the optics don't look good. Is that
You would vote to impeach.
Well, I didn't say I'd vote to impeach. I said the optics don't look good. There's more information to be had. Listen, the process is just starting, and it's also, you have to recognize also, Todd, that it's been it's been so partisan, and it's been lopsided, right? So you hear, Trump blowing up Twitter, and then the Democrats saying one thing. So we need. Yeah. These things need to be based on factual information rather than conjecture, right?
I agree with that.
So let's get the facts out, and if all this stuff that we're reading in the paper turns out to be true, then the Senate, if I'm in the Senate, I have an obligation to my constituents, the 28 million of them in the state of Texas, to do the right thing. Yeah. And I tell you the one thing I'm not going to do, and I say this. In a good spirit. I'm not going to curry favor to the leader of the Senate. So the fact that Mitch McConnell is I think doing some things that that's not me. So I'm not going to Congress to be Mitch McConnell's friend. By the way, he's up for election next year too.
Sure.
And so that's not what I'm going to Congress to be a paid representative of 28 million people in the state of Texas.
We don't have a whole lot of time, just 30 seconds or so. Tell folks how they can learn more. And a basic message you want people to know about you.
Well, look, I'm in the private sector for 33 years. I've created hundreds of jobs. I want to go to Washington to serve the 28 million people in Texas. I want to work on policy instead of politics. I'm not a politician. The budget is the national debt is $23 trillion. Rand Paul is the only senator that ever says anything about that. No, you'll never hear anyone other than Senator Paul talk about the debt.
Yeah. Tell folks how they can find you and learn more.
Voteformark.com, and that's more content's coming to the website, and you'll learn more as time goes on.
There you go, Mark Yancey, Yancey is how you spell it.
That's right.
Google it, and there you go. I appreciate it. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you
very much.